coverage continues now with Wolf Blitzer right next door in the Situation Room.
Happening now, breaking news. Congress kicks off a high-stakes week with a Senate vote on a bill aimed at averting economic calamity as the clock ticks toward a possible government shutdown and default on the national debt. Divided House Democrats are meeting as well, with the fate of the Biden agenda clearly hanging in the balance right now. Also tonight, President Biden just got his COVID-19 booster shot, as many vaccinated Americans are uncertain about when they'll get their turn. Dr. Anthony Fauci joins us live at this critical moment in the pandemic. And the chairman of the January 6th committee says more subpoenas may be coming this week. This as the deadline is nearing for 4 Trump loyalists to respond to their subpoenas. We want to welcome our viewers here in the United States and around the world. I'm Wolf Blitzer. You're in the Situation Room.
This is CNN Breaking News.
And we begin with the breaking news on what one lawmaker is now calling the week from hell. This hour, the Senate is voting on a bill to suspend the debt limit and avert a government shutdown. Republicans are expected to block it, and House Democrats are meeting to discuss disagreements that are threatening to sink the Biden agenda. Phil Mattingly is standing by for us over at the White House. But first, let's go to Capitol Hill. Our congressional correspondent, Ryan Nobles, is joining us. Ryan, there's a lot going on tonight. Update our viewers on the latest.
Yeah, Wolf, I do not think it's an understatement to say this might be the most important week for Joe Biden since he was sworn into office as president of the United States. A number of massive issues that both the House and Senate are dealing with this week that are placed central into his broad agenda that he outlined for the American people during his campaign. Right now, the Senate is voting on a plan that would allow the government to continue spending money up until December and raise the debt limit so it was able to pay its credit card bills. This bill, this is a procedural move happening right now as Republicans attempt to filibuster this plan. It is expected to fail, which is going to put Democrats in a difficult position as they find a way to avoid a government shutdown, which could come as soon as the end of the week. Now, that's just one thing that the Congress is dealing with right now. They are also in the midst of intense negotiations over the future of 2 massive spending bills. One, a $1.2 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill that's already passed the Senate, and then a much larger $3.5 trillion human infrastructure bill that they're attempting to pass through the budget reconciliation process. Now, House progressives have been insistent that they're not going to vote for that bipartisan deal without the reconciliation package passed into law. And the key to all of this might be the Senator Joe Manchin from West Virginia, who is still signaling that he is not ready to make an agreement on that reconciliation package.
That's a heavy lift. There's a lot to do, a lot to talk about, but everybody has to keep trying to work in good faith the best you can. There's a lot in that bill, the 3.5, the reconciliation bill, tax codes, climate change, social reforms. There's a lot, and people need to know what's in it. So it's going to take a while.
Now, Manchin would like to take some time to debate this reconciliation package, but he may not have that time because the House Speaker Nancy Pelosi would like to bring the bipartisan infrastructure bill, which Manchin supports, up for a vote as soon as Thursday. And House progressives have said in the past that they're not going to vote for that bill until the reconciliation package is passed in its totality. I caught up with progressive lawmaker Ro Khanna earlier today. This is what he said about the status of those negotiations.
It's got to be an agreement. There's got to be an agreement by the holdout senators, by the holdout 8 House members, and the agreement has to be pretty simple. We're going to respect and get behind our president. I think it is actually really hurtful to the Democratic Party that you don't have people showing this president respect. He won the election. We ought to unify behind his agenda, and we ought to start falling in line. The progressives have fallen in line.
Now, what's important about what Khanna said there is that he is willing to vote for the bipartisan infrastructure plan as long as there is an agreement in place, a framework. That doesn't necessarily mean that it needs to be passed by the House and the Senate. That's what they're working on right now, Wolf. That seems to be the path that would allow Democrats the best chance of being successful. The question is, can they pull it off?
Yeah, it's clearly a very critical moment right now. Ryan, I want you to stand by. We're going to get back to you in just a moment.